Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webcast with Crunchfish in connection with the report, with the company's report for the second quarter of 2021. I will be joined in a few minutes by CEO Joachim Samuelsson. My name is Alf Riple. I work for Västra Hamnen Corporate Finance, and I will be your moderator for today. I will have a discussion with Joachim about the report, and you're also very welcome to write your questions. There's a chat function on the bottom of your screen. You can write your questions there, and I will read them out, and Joachim will answer. I remind you that this session is being recorded. The recording will later on be found on Crunchfish homepage and on Västra Hamnen's channel on YouTube. So with that, a very good morning to you, Joachim.
Good morning to you, Alf.
It's nice to see you. I want to kick it off with a question that I've been wondering. I noticed during the spring you had a very high number of press releases and lots of information coming out. And now lately it has been more quiet from Crunchfish. Is there anything particular going on that you could tell us about?
Well, the main thing I would say is that we've entered into a new phase. We are in a phase where we are closer to sort of the markets where we are integrating our products. Before we were more sort of in an exploratory phase, more of a conceptual, with that we have an idea of a product. That means that we are sort of signing NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and secrecy agreements, and we're really not allowed with some of those discussions to out some of those customers in the market, and so it was a conscious choice to because these are the hottest things that we have, but we felt that we need to rethink a little bit. Before we were very active, but now I think we decided to communicate more when we have something more sort of that we are allowed to also communicate. But this will take a little bit of time because we are in those projects, and we are really not allowed to out anything, because the major customers they don't allow us to communicate before they feel that we have come to a point where it's they allow us to communicate. Really, I think we are under obligation that if we think that we have to communicate thanks to market regulation rules, then they can't really stop us. But as we are still in this sort of still quite early in this phase with them, we feel that we're really not in a position that we would almost drive the market if we communicated too much with some of those projects. So we're not there for regulatory reasons, and then we're not forced by that, and then we are stopped by some of these secrecy agreements that we have, really. So that's I would say the main reason why I think we have taken a much more conservative approach to communicating sort of after I guess the Q1 report when we last saw each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. You write in the report today that you have completed integration with VKey's VOS secure element. Can you explain to us the significance of this step that you now have completed the integration?
Yeah. We did have a version also in the spring, but it didn't include a trusted execution environment. That means that our application were not running in a trusted place in the app, in a safe place. We were still using key store, which you can use from the mobile phones just to keep cryptographic keys, but the actual application that we have developed were running sort of unsafe, and we had that as our first version. But as of 1st of July, I think it was early July, then we did sort of complete that. We have now put all of our execution, all the cryptographic keys and all the whole application of ours into that secure environment of VKey, which I think is of significance. And this is sort of the product that we have now for Android and also Apple iOS phones as well. So this is sort of the first version that I think will be the first version we had in the spring, we could sort of do integrations with them and show what we could do. But I think the real product that needs this level of security in the market was what we had here, now available for integrations and testing in the market. This is what came here in early July.
Mm-hmm. And just I should maybe said to give some context, this is relating to your digital cash payments and especially digital.
Cash. This is absolutely. It is our the digital cash wallet that you have on a phone. We provide that as an software development kit that that can be integrated into any, in Sweden, as many people are here Swedish, this could be a part of the Swish app, that they have this secure environment in the Swish app, for instance, that could manage sort of a balance where you have your a balance of money that you can spend, and also you can sign off transactions even if you're offline, if you're not connected to the cloud. Right now, I think to use Swish, you need to sort of have online connectivity, but this could potentially be done here. But you need a safe environment to execute it within, and this is what the Viki virtual operating system, VOS, provides. Yes, and it's certainly for the digital cash wallet that we could add to anyone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a question here from the audience. Can you comment around the development or the patents for digital cash? It seems the market has taken the news around that very negatively. What's the question around the patents or development, or? Yes, the development of the patents for digital cash. I think this is referring to what you write in the report, that you have had a search report and you have now realized you will have to do some modifications about your claims in order to secure patentability. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
What the search report shows is that the main claim that we had, the sort of the main claim in our patent application was that either the payer or the receiver of the payer of the payment could send this transaction up to the cloud for settlement, either or, independently of each other. That was something that we, when we filed for this, thought were novel. This was a new thing, because typically it's either or. It's the like in, as I said, in the Swish application, you can push a transaction, then it's the payer, or it's sort of done by the sort of receiver, sort of a terminal that would send it up. But we thought that very seldom both would do it. But what the examiner found, that there were some applications here. There was one from PayPal and another one from MasterCard that did also include this idea. So that idea wasn't novel. That means that our main, very wide claim here that we thought was a really great thing for particularly the offline payments, that either party could sort of send up the transaction, the one who received the payment or the one who have actually done it. We can't get a patent for that because it's not a new idea. However, what we have analyzed is sort of that that's sort of the main claim, but we have a lot of sort of dependent claim, as it's called, and here it is that we feel that we could amend our main claim by adding something of our dependent claims into the main claim, and then have would be the modified one, and still then come to quite a strong position here, because one of the things that we have noticed, for instance, is that neither the PayPal one or the MasterCard one, they don't include a way for the receiver of the payment in an offline mode to verify how that is done. They are just receiving something, and they are supposed to trust that this is a legit payment. And we feel that's sort of quite a crucial component. So by adding that, we feel we are getting something which neither of those two patent applications include, and we can then get a strong position anyway. So this is what we would argue back now to the in this process and seek sort of patentability for that position, which we think is quite a strong. The way they see it is just that as long as you can just do a transaction, as long as you sign off a transaction, then you are just supposed to trust that. But we have in our way of working is that sort of we have this way of how we verify that the received payment on the receiver side is legit, and we think that's still a strong sort of patent position that we will have. But why the market reacted negatively it was probably that they thought, well, we would be the only one, and this patent would just go through without any objections. That would have been better for sure, but the thing we learned is sort of that the way sort of that MasterCard and PayPal is doing it, they don't infringe on our rights to do what we do, because they have some peculiar sort of they've added some things in their patents which we don't really do. So we have freedom to operate, which is sort of like that they can't say that we can't do what we do. And also that we can reach a position here which carves out a good sort of protected position for our solution in the market. This is difficult, I think, for the market to assess, and we can't swear that the examiner will accept our position, but this is what we believe that we should try to aim for in our response now back to the market, and see if that is something we will be a position that we can then file nationally. One thing I've also understood is that we're not disturbed in the market, the fact that we don't have this patent yet. There's no customer asking us that we don't want to work with you unless you have the patent. These are two very different things. Our market rollout is sort of based on that they see a need for that this product is useful for them. And then the process of hopefully getting a patent is a process of getting a long-term protection for our product, that we have this as a protected position in the market. But we don't have to wait with talking to customers. We certainly not, just because we don't have yet a patent. So yeah.
Okay, thanks for the question, and please, you're very welcome to come and write more questions to join in the conversation. I have another one here. In the report, it says that we are now integrating our solution with several partners. Has Crunchfish named these partners before, or are they new?
We've named, again, we are at a more delicate stage right now. Some are new that we haven't named, and some, we haven't. We talked about them before, but we are not. Right now, we're not privileged to disclose too much about it, really.
Okay, thanks. And a second question here. In terms of your geographical focus at this point, is it still mainly India, or has it broadened?
It is mainly India, but we, as we announced sort of around CBDC, central bank digital currency, this would be too narrow to just wait for Sweden and India. And we have been. This is one area where we actually were approached in another market because we made some noise in this area, and so this could open up. That opportunity actually turned into that they were very active already as a player doing things in their market with current sort of payment services, which were not based on CBDC, and the initial request, which came in via that from another part of the world, and turned into now a discussion around getting a digital cash into their payment services of today, really. So then we are drawn into opportunities by our partners. Staying at CBDC, we have this partner eCurrency that have done a great job in Jamaica. Right now they are working. They have done a really good job in a few months to get it started. From they got the order to actually starting the pilots. Offline payments is sort of off. It's not part of their initial pilot. I think they have just decided. So that's why I think we haven't started integrating yet with payment services in that market. Right now, it's just they're doing it just with a one app in order to just test the system. But currently, the focus has not been on that offline should be part of it. They're trying just to get it to work in terms of backend with online payments. But it's part of this overall scope. So at some point it will come in, but it's not part of it right now. But that's another geographically market that we're drawn into. Likewise, Viki, our partner, they are also active in other markets with and having discussions, and they can also open up opportunities and have that we have discussed. So that means that we are in other places than India and Sweden, but we're not actively really searching for other opportunities. Right now, we're trying to stay focused on India, but it happens that our partners, particularly, have opportunities that they want to where they need offline payments as well, and then we are looking at that, but we are not all over the place in the world. So I would say mainly still India and Sweden. But still responding to if partners pulls us into opportunities.
Mm-hmm. And just as a follow-up, you mentioned Viki, and you seem to be in a very intimate cooperation with Viki at the moment, with the integration being completed. Is their solution that you run a virtual secure element and your integration, is that your main strategy now? You have mentioned also that you have entered into agreements where you can run a secure element, for instance, on an overlay card, on a SIM, in a feature phone. But based on what you said earlier, is the solution that you have developed together with Viki, is that the best solution and the one you will bet on going forward?
Well, it is the solution for sort of smartphones, both Android and iOS. That's what we have right now, that we could do pilots and integrations and pilots in the market with. As you say, then we have also discussed and have ideas about using this thin SIM technology. You have a sort of a very thin SIM that you can use in a feature phone, or even on I guess on a card as well, but particularly on a feature phone. Right now we haven't taken that further. But that could come later. But right now we haven't had the bandwidth to develop that as well. We're still quite a small team, so we have to take sort of things a bit serial. We can't just go on all opportunities. But it's still there that we could do things, but we haven't had any bandwidth. We have had all our focus to get this version here with using the Viki as the secure element that we run our application within that environment. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Another question from the audience here. Regarding CBDC, do you only work or rely on your partner eCurrency, or do you have your own discussions as well?
As I said, we got into opportunities from our own discussions, but I think we realized that I think that the central banks need some sort of a solution that we integrate sort of into, rather than that we can go solo. We think that will probably not be. I don't think that would fly. I think we need partners really for it, and then eCurrency is the one that we currently have in this area. We get into opportunities, and we had one quite recently actually that approached us, and this is in an African country who are exploring a sort of this opportunity. They contacted us, but we we contacted eCurrency, and now we are looking at we three together. They are a system integrator in the country, eCurrency with their backbone solution for the central bank, and we are the provider of the offline solution. But I think someone who has that focus to work straight with the central banks we bring a crucial, important component with our offline payments, but they need this overall solution. They can't just rely on offline payments only. So partnering with someone, and right now I think that partner that we have is sort of eCurrency. There could potentially be other partners as well, but we haven't broadened that yet.
I see. And another thing I noticed from your report, you write that you are you started integrating with an Indian payment player at the moment. I suspect that the names are not available at this stage, but can you say anything about when we will get more information about names and go live dates and terms of your agreements and things like that?
Yeah, it's sort of this is a major player, sort of a very much infrastructure in Indian payment markets, and they have very many relations with particularly with the banks in India, and we have also discussions with some of the major banks about this solution, and I believe that they would like to see this joint solution of ours together with them to be that it flies with some of those sort of major banks. If that, then I think we will announce. But there are some steps here that we are in integration that needs to sort of be sort of completed so we can show this solution, and then we have to attract at least one bank sort of that this is sort of interesting. Then I think they are very willing to press release and talk about this solution. But until that happens, it sort of has to be a bit in the background, really. So this is where we are with this. So that's sort of why it's and it's a bit frustrating that we are doing things in the background, but we're really not allowed to. As this is important sort of partner of ours, we can't sort of we can't. We have to respect the non-disclosure agreement we have with them, and they are not willing to yet disclose sort of what's happening, and then we are a bit bound by that. And again, we are not. We feel we are not. It's too early to feel that this should drive the stock market price of the company, because then we had to announce it. So we're a little bit there that it's too early for us to claim that, because there are still risks in this project. That's why we can't just out it. And then we have a customer who says that they want to come a little bit further before we can announce anything.
Mm-hmm. But can you tell us anything about the form of remuneration you would receive from this? I mean, is it as you stated earlier this year that you now have a revenue model that is by the number of certificate integrations on the customer side? Is this the kind of model you are discussing with them?
They know about that, but the way they sort of, because they have existing many sort of banks sort of that they work with, and they have another more of a transactional based model, and what we have discussed is sort of that either we would sort of latch onto that model of theirs, so we would have a part of that. Alternatively, it would be sort of that the add-on would be as we have described, but as this would be a little bit in discussions with their customers of what, so that hasn't been really settled yet what it would be.
Okay, thanks. Another question here I have received is that in terms of timetable to integrate with clients and revenue generation, has this taken longer than initial thought, and how do you see the timetable from here?
Yeah, I would say that it is taking a bit longer, because there is sort of, we have to sign agreements, and get all that done. And it's a big company, so that it takes a bit of time, just that. Then the integration stage is sort of one stage as well, and then there is a stage of that even if our product we can show it's working, it needs to work with their product. So it needs to sort of be sort of proof of concept, not of our solution, but our solution in combination with theirs. So I think that these steps sort of delays things, really. That's what we see. And I think maybe we should have understood that before, but I think that has become quite clear to us that it takes longer before that. And so we are in a phase right now that we need to get our product sort of integrated and accepted, and then rollout will come after. So things is slower than we maybe thought sort of before.
Okay. And switching back home to Sweden again, you mentioned also that your cooperation with Swish here in Sweden. What are the current plans now, and how is the status of that cooperation?
Yeah, in Q2 we were disappointed actually, because we thought we had a great sort of submission to Post and Telestyrelsen for this innovation, and then that integration would have actually had started with funding from them already here in July. Just when the product was ready, we could have sort of started with Swish. Now I think that when the funding is not there, then we need to it will need to then be sold into the owners of Swish, which are the banks. So they need to be convinced first. Swish is the people in Swish, that team is still convinced that this is a great thing, and they like it, and they see the need and what sort of that would solve for them, because the financial regulator of Sweden, they're certainly seeing Swish as a very important means of payment in Sweden, and it needs to be stabilized, because there are many things that can go wrong. And I think that people at Swish understands that we could be really a crucial component of stabilizing Swish, or having it more more available, even if something is down of all the things that could be down, internet or paying bank or receiving bank or bank ID or whatever, really. There's many things that could go wrong there. And so they are behind us. So we are in discussion with them, but now it needs to be first that we establish with them. We have to build a case for the member banks, and that's we are in that stage now after the vacation. We couldn't just start developing, and we have to get the banks, or at least some of the banks, behind that they want to do the solution. So that has also then been delayed. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. I want to move on to Gesture, and you had a happy announcement earlier this year about entering an agreement with Lenovo for their AR glasses. What are your expectations for this cooperation, and can you tell us a little bit more about the product that you're going to be integrated into?
Yeah, it's sort of it's something called a Daystar GS2, I think and that's sort of one. It's sort of their AR product. They need gesture control in order to get a great sort of user interaction, and we have sort of signed a 3-year agreement where we are part of that, and could be in other models as well. And we've signed some sort of royalty model that, depending on how many sort of units they will manufacture, then we get sort of a royalty of that. And that's what we established with Lenovo. And we thought it was Lenovo is sort of still, it's a major Chinese brand here, really, that and having them was, again, after we know they did quite a lengthy evaluation and ended up sort of choosing our product. So we're quite happy about that, really.
Yeah, it's a huge name, of course, in the industry. But I mean, looking ahead to consumer AR glasses, which I think is the big prize that you're playing for. How do you see that market developing? Is there anything going on at the moment that you can see?
Well, it's moving all the time. We feel that it probably needs yet one more generation, product-wise, to really get into full sort of market adoption, really. That could be that everybody, I think, are waiting for someone who was talking about it for a long time is Apple. That when they come out with really smart glasses. Right now, there are sort of two types of glasses. Either you have glasses where they can be quite slim, the glasses, but they would need a little bit like you have, Alf, here, a little bit of a cord that connects to your mobile phone. So you have a lot of processing not happening on your device itself, but on your mobile phone. But then you have that cord, which is sort of that's not the final solution. Or alternatively, you have a solution which is a little bit like our partner Vusich had some sort of solution in the market, but it's yet not something that I think is the really end vision here. A little bit more is sort of needed. We are in many of these classes of today, but what really consumer-oriented glasses is all about is that we will see a market volume for this, that the volume would pick up, and we don't think that won't come until some have really got the form factor to be attractive enough. And we have a very efficient sort of gesture control system that can work in that with very slim form factors. So we are prepared for it, but the products needs to sort of come to that. And I personally think that it is Apple that will open this market, just like they've done in other areas, that when Apple releases their sort of then there will be a lot of frenzy that many of the Chinese, Korean brands or also US brands just have to get their act together and also be part of that, really. But it could be others. Facebook is sort of working in this area as well. I know Google is, but I think Apple are the ones that I think that have talked about it for the longest, really, that this is coming. So yeah, I bet on Apple will be a major shift in the market, and they are alluding to it, but it hasn't yet hit the market yet. There are rumors all the time with Apples around this.
Yeah, it's a very exciting space to follow. And in the meantime, you have developed your algorithms that and it came as a surprise to me that you could it's what's looked like from the outside a very quick and easy fix, and then it went from hand tracking to full body tracking. Can you tell us about this? What are the possible uses for this that you can see in the future?
Yeah. We were very happy that we were able to very, very quickly. It just showed how versatile the platform is for gesture control, what we've done. What the use case is sort of one would be the TV case that you are people are in the room, and the fact that we are tracking both people and not just hand gestures means that we could zoom in, that you sit in the sofa and someone sort of take up the hand. We recognize then that, okay, we can see that someone maybe with an open hand here seeks attention, and then we can zoom in on that area and that hand, and then we could see this is your remote control now doing things. But the combined use of that, we first identify sort of the people, and then we are moving over to then controlling something with our hand. So we're actually using it often with both body and then hand together. That would be a good TV case for that. Your hand will really become then the remote control. But other cases would be maybe digital signage, sort of big sort of commercial screens that you can do things with your whole body and interact with digital screens. So there are those use cases as well. But we certainly have broadened it. We see use cases also happening maybe in a cockpit environment, sort of that you are in a truck or in a car. Then we have focus on the full body, but then also again similar to TV, we can get over to hand gestures to do things, but first to zoom in on what's happening if someone does something, and then go over to the hand. So our technology now, when we have both body and hand gesture, and we also can combine them, opens up more possibilities than otherwise we were a little bit stuck in that find the hand only, and now it's sort of more of a we can work with the body as well, and that can also express things.
Let's see, I have another question on digital cash here that I think we should cover. Will you get out any digital cash solution into the market in 2021 and start earning money, or is that delayed now?
I would say that we certainly are we are right now sort of integrating, so we certainly hope we can get it. Can we get to revenue? That depends on the speed of the whole project. And so this is that is a bit still too early to say revenue-wise for Digital Cash.
Okay. And another question, I guess this also relates to Digital Cash. It is how many partners are we integrating with at the moment?
Right now we're working with only there's sort of 2 sort of projects going on.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Then we have many who have said that they want to, but we haven't yet started yet because of that. We are in we're stuck with agreements and a little bit like that. So we have a few more, but we also have a bit limited bandwidth with our team. That we can't take on 20 anyway. So we need to sort of focus in on a handful or a few. We need to.
All right, thanks. I want to move again over to a different business area, food waste. You write in a short sentence in the report that the patent that you have filed and also received in Sweden, I assume, has now been challenged, and then you're now considering whether this is a good business area at all. Can you tell us a little bit about your reasoning in this area?
Here we have a granted patent, but it was challenged that they claim that this is sort of not novel. The main claim again is not novel. And we have looked at we've analyzed and we looked at what they came with, and we see that our main claim, which again was very, very broad, will probably not stand. That is what we think. Similar as we discussed before, we need then to think of can we narrow this to come to a more narrow position. But this means that also the viability, the business viability of having a more narrow scope in this area where it's built on this patent, it sort of makes us question whether we have a viable business at all in this area. And that's something that, given all the other things we are doing, this has to compete with other priorities. And that's why we have, we seriously need to consider what we're going to do in this area.
And when do you expect to reach a decision on that?
We have to sort of take that quite soon, I think. Yeah.
Right, thanks. I want to move on to your financials. And first of all, in your income statement that you released this morning, you report just under 1 million kronor in revenue this quarter, and it was just over 1 million in the previous quarter, which is both of them are quite a lot less than you had in the quarters of last year, for instance. Can you say anything about what's driving this change?
Well, what's driving it is that a lot of that revenue came from that we were Blipit as our partnership with Clearon. We did a lot of development for Blipit, and a lot of that revenue was actually tied to our services to Blipit. But that product is now complete, so it's much less work. So we have moved our development that we're working with Digital Cash, which is not with Clearon, it's sort of on our own. So that is sort of what's making the revenue sort of become lower. Before we were charging Blipit a lot for our development work. We are not anymore because of the all our focus is on Digital Cash rather than to develop Blipit.
Okay.
I think there may also be some lowering of in the gesture area as well. That explains some of that. But I think the main, if you would analyze it in detail, would be probably that it would be from the Blipit area, really. Okay.
And about Blipit, I mean, if the Blipit's costs for hiring Crunchfish to do the consulting services has gone down, does that mean that you don't have to put as much money into Blipit going forward?
That certainly is. That will be a consequence for both us and Clearon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it fully financed for now, Blipit, or do you expect that you will have to put more money in? I mean, further down the road.
It's sort of we have actually one cash injection we will do. We met with Clearon just earlier this week, and that will cover us for the rest of the year.
Okay, yeah, I see. And also, you mentioned your financing in the report, and you say that you will have to consider different financing options here. I know you have loans from the main owners, and if I'm not mistaken, they will have to be paid back in Q1. So you have that, and also the cash situation in general is fairly low. So yeah, what are the options that stand before you, and how do you think about the issue?
Yeah, I think the preferred option that we want to do is to do a directed issue, and we have had opportunities on the table for how to do that. So we are talking about a directed issue, which wouldn't there would be some dilution for current shareholders, but wouldn't really go and ask any shareholders for more money then. That is, I think, the preferred option. It could also be by loans, so that you, just like we, as the main owner, put in some loans, there could be with a combination of that as well. The other main, I think, avenue would then either be a rights issue, which is in Swedish företrädesemission, but that's something we prefer if we don't have to go down that route, and rather do a quicker sort of financing, and we are working on trying to sort of secure that. That's where we are in the market. There is also opportunities maybe to divest parts of our business that will also become a cash injection as well. But that's more, it's sort of harder to sort of tell when that would happen, really. But that's also an opportunity.
Okay, thanks. And I have received a couple more questions here. How long will the finance last?
The way it looks like now, it's sort of to December, to the end of the year, to December.
Okay. And another question is, are you searching for a strong financial partner for a corner position or something like that?
I would welcome sort of say if we can have an institutional. We have one institutional funding company, we having another, but we will also very much welcome sort of a strategic one from the space that are working in the space, as also will come in and sort of have a position in the company. We certainly welcome that. So that could be either or, really, that could come in. I think that would be two good options, really, for us, if we can secure anything of that.
Okay, thanks. And another question, again, going back to digital cash. What's the feedback from central banks on your digital cash and offline solution? We read more and more about major central banks launching CBDC pilots with offline functionalities. Do you see us involved there, or why not?
I think that I think offline is what we heard certainly from eCurrency is that this is sort of on all requirements, is that the solution we developed needs to be offline as well. But then, as they are starting often, just like eCurrency here in Jamaica, when they start, they need to get their backbone and base system sort of there, and offline would typically come as a not as the first thing that they want to put in. It's certainly there, as they need to have it, but they developed in this project the backbone first, and then they will solve for the offline problem. That's what we've seen here in Sweden as well, that they have developed the backbone first, and then they will when they go out in sort of as in consumer hands, what it will be, first thing would be to solve that it works in an online mode, but offline is there, but it tends to be with some delay.
Okay, thanks. Right. I don't have any more questions from my side, and so far I can't see any more from the audience, unless anybody's out there typing very fast right now. But this has been a very great pleasure to talk with you again, Joachim, and very interesting to read your report once again. So I don't know if you maybe want to say your thank yous and or any final messages to the audience as well.
Yeah, no, I think thanks for all the questions. I know we've been more quiet. And it is difficult to, as I said, to communicate because we are in a different phase right now. And I felt that we had an opportunity here for certainly in the report, but also in this interview. So I thank you for all the engagement. I think this has been I don't think we've had such an engaged audience as today, Alf. I think we typically have 3 or 4 questions. Now we probably have 20. But I think that also tells a little bit that people are very eager to know and know where we are. And I think I appreciate that one thing we need to solve right now, in addition to succeeding with sort of certainly digital cash to get that in market, is also the financing thing. I know people have been addressing that to me, so that's something that's sort of certainly top of my mind to try to solve that in parallel here as well.
Okay, I have received one. We will let that be the final question. What are the visions in about 3 years, and where do you stand then? That's the final question for today.
Okay. I think we have established ourselves then as a really strong player, complementing payment services with our offline component. We are right now in the most dynamic, fast-moving market in the world when it comes to mobile payments in India, and I think it is highly exciting to establish ourselves sort of there, because from there then we have a good position to grow out in the world from such a dynamic market. And I right now the focus is mainly to try to get into taking a position there and be an established sort of provider of offline payments, and then from there we can go anywhere really. I think and we would, how far we have come is hard to say, but that's sort of certainly the goal.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Joachim, and thank you everybody in the audience for listening in and asking very good questions. So we'll see you again in another 3 months, I hope.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.